Hello and welcome, as today's date is the completion of the 14th day of December 2020. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and the like. That's within each own risk and their own reward. And I'm just going to be going over like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Theta. Just talking about what I see. And I mean, if you watch my videos, it's pretty much going to be no surprise in what I'm going to say. And damn, this Bitcoin looks pretty good for expectations like now. The daily chart and the 1 hour chart is what I'm going to be focusing on first within the daily. And what a spectacular run it's been since it broke out from these early October levels. Barely above 10,000, now barely below 20. That's barely almost a 2x move from this like that. And within this move, it's... what kind of correctionary runs has there been? No 18 touches until like a little bit here. Found some support for like 3 and then another 3 consecutive days out of 8. A little bit here, but yeah, just a little bit. Another little bit here. And then we finally had action within the 18. There has been 3 situations that I see in which it has tried to regain the trend. 1, right in here. I guess 4. No, 4. Because 1, it gets above it here, but it pulls back. Then we can see it trying to get going. A little bit of a pullback. Tries again, but bigger of one. It spends 3 consecutive periods at the 18 lows. Thus, oh, are we doing a sideways reaction? Maybe, but I don't know now. It looks like right now when I look at how things have been progressing within the 18 average of highs over the last few days. This thing almost looks ready to go for what could potentially be some spectacular gains, especially because this would be en route on a break of this big 20,000 level that we can see. And we've had excitation on the 18 average of highs and what looks still to me the early stages of which amongst this. This is again why I'm talking about weak resistance at this point. It so far has been just that. But getting out above here, that could just be spectacular. Now, within the single hour term, this is where it looks fantastic. Because within the whole run, we can see that this is the, there's that big end of the run from like 10,000 up to 20. There's, of course, 11,000 right there. Up to like 19.2 and then up to like 19.7. So a hair below 20. Down move, back to the high. And then correcting, supporting this area of resistance. A little bit of move, but making a higher low to this one. And then now congesting this move to where we came from. So very quick recovery. The V-shaped formations. There's 2 very nice V-shaped ones here. There's this V-shape. And then there's this V-shape. Plus all the miscellaneous ones in here. You can get a little bit here. Most certainly playing around this. And looking at this one amongst like the 15-minute would show a nice little V-shape as well. But a lot of these sell-offs have been denied extremely fast. And now I'm seeing after a long succession amongst the 18 average that we're having excitation right now. It came down to it at 10 o'clock timestamp, December 13th. Attempting to get above it on this 17-hour one, which is 7 plus the 24. That was 31 periods within the range. Plus another 2 or 3 more. And now, just the last 2 or 3, the way it's been going, just magnificent, showing to me as if it's ready to go. Now this range between, if you look at the short term, and I'll bet whatever because I'm not trading it, but 19,320-ish down to about 19,235. That was resistance. Short term, I'd be looking at that for support. 18 average starting to rise. Price action is well above it. It's gotten above this level of resistance, an area I would most certainly consider to be thus of weak resistance because there hasn't really been much in that area. Nice little run so far, of course, within the 15-minute time frame as well. Now, the hourly time frame for Bitcoin and Litecoin is relatively comparable. As I'm going to just go to this now. I'm going to Litecoin. This is against Bitcoin, which is what makes it relatively interesting. But comparable, there's your run, there's your correctionary move. But this one's so cool because I've talked about this before, but the failed move before the real move. So let's just put a line for whatever to do there, just because I like to put lines in. And really, the Litecoin movement has been just high, choppy, volatile action for several weeks now. But I'll get to that. We'll show the daily chart when we're done this. So nice little run in here. Overall, this has been a sideways consolidation pattern since then, which is nice to see. But what's up with this failed breakdown here? And now this level of resistance right here looks like it's being taken out. So now, okay, we're coming up to here. We've already pierced below it. Maybe we hit it or pierce extra within this hour or the next couple coming. You can almost think of like head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders type of pattern in this. But the same sort of reason is there. And it's just done the key thing in breaking that neckline. And as I've been mentioning, this has been a very, very high volatile moving code lately. I'll quickly go to the 4 hour. I haven't looked at that one actually. I just thought something, oh my goodness, this looks good. But I mean, that's why this is something, I look at this quick, I can see in here, key low, and I know I was going down from this, key high. So we retraced this mode and we basically gave back about 100% retracement, came back to key low, but it's so far has supported it. And then its attempt, it can't call this a bull market until it can do something with higher highs and higher lows trading above the 18 average of highs. So before you do that and you're below it, you need to flatten the band out. You need to attempt to get above it. So flatten the band out, attempt to get above it. Well, attempted to get above it and it's flattened it for a bit, but you can see just by using the 18 average in here, amongst this period here, it violates below the 18 lows and then it has a very large pattern of lower highs and lower lows. So flatten out the band. Okay, well, it most certainly successfully did that here. And then after it's able to do so and hold the next move, because in here it gets above it and then it doesn't hold anywhere around here. Here it gets above it and it's able to hold in around there. And then you see momentum going higher. So originally you're I mean, there's going to be all this retracement from this high to this low, and that's what we could be talking about now from what it's attempting to do. But until then and before that, in more short term, you got retracement from this high to this low. Just like you would have had retracement from either one of these lows to this high. And then when you see that it was violating it on a negative level in here, just like it coincided with the 18, again, it went down lower. So the Fibonacci and the math from this high to this low would have held that 61, 70% level, holding it, which is so important. Then it makes it easier to have on a good rally to make a higher high, which of course, success again. As price action able to get above this high, and this move here was unable to come back to where it came from. Very successful to me. I don't know if you want to call this showing lots of mega strength or extra strength. I don't know, but very good move. Correctionary back to the 18, showing a bit of strength on here, and then this period here is looking to break out. To me, and the current one being this, with 1 hour 24 to go at a 4, very, very good setup. I would be thinking, okay, where's some of price target levels? Well, I'm not going to calculate it, but I can already tell just by looking at it, because I've done it so much. And I mean, you can look at this key fib too, for what it's worth, as well as from this low to this high. So let's do both of them. So from this low to this high, so this high, which is the started December highs and the low, we're already coming up to the 38.2% mark now. So 61.8 is somewhere in the ballpark area of here. So that would be my price objective. And another way, oh, we're going to break this level. I talk so much about it, but the 3 bears, I don't even know if anyone even knows what they are. Because I was thinking the other day, when have I ever heard someone ever tell me about the 3 bears since 1990? Because back in the 1980s, there was like 4, 5, 6 stories. And the Berenstein Bears is an interesting one. Because I always called them the Berenstein Bears, and then the video game nerd did a whole video about that, which was really weird, and apparently that was incorrect spelling. But anyway, it was just one of 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever different stories. There was a nice hockey one that was Canadian made that you definitely, other than a few Canadians, but I can't remember what it was. Nice little, it was about the Maurice Richard hockey sweater. Oh, I love that book and stories. There was a few things about that. Anyway, the 3 little bears, like the bed had to be like just right. It can't be too hard, can't be too soft. And that's just the way of things on life, is just trying to get a good median for what something should be in a lot of cases. And in this case here, if a break it only comes here, that's just not much of a move. And a lot of times I'm thinking if that's the case, that's one of 2 things. Okay, so it breaks resistance, comes up here, and you're looking like this. Either this is, okay, it's on its way to do that, or it's a failed breakout that's just going to have a decent breakdown lower. But a big move would be up here. Oh my goodness, it's like way too big. But as a trader, that's what I want. But just for trying to read the markets from here on in, for now, let's just worry about getting 61.8%, which is somewhere around here. make a high, resist it choppiness, maybe come back even to this level and like that, something of that nature there in the higher highs and higher lows element. The other Fibonacci and would be like, say, from this low and this high, and we're still trading within it until it breaks, has a clear break below here or a clear break above here. It's in that range. As I've been mentioning, Litecoin has been extremely volatile. When we see the run up from this move to this move, this high to this low, this high to this low, just even a lot of this short term, like may only be like 1%, 2%, 3% moves here and there, but a lot of them, and then nice little V-shaped move and then big move down, decent sized move at this point. But the Fibonacci in here, you'd have about 38.2%. Oh man, that's a shake I didn't want to do. 38.2% around here, and 61 in this area here. So coinciding those areas, I would have to think somewhere around 45, 46 would be a good short-term handle. And on the daily term time frame, we can see things since October or something. Pretty much since this down move in here. You can see that there's been a lot more of this choppy moving action, and there's still no signs of it relenting or stopping, or the signs are still showing that's going to continue. So a lot of these up and down moves, V and reverse V-shaped formations, I think, should be continued to be expected. But these things, when they're ready to go, they can have fantastic moves. And it wouldn't surprise me, because this to me is an extremely depressed low price. I think if this doubles to the 86 handle, that's extremely depressed. Even to the 10 number, which is a 2.5x move. This thing used to be trading at the 20 number, or basically 6 times higher than it is now. And it can have a move that can have a 6, 7, 8x move, and it can do that in about 6, 7, 8 days, or 9, 12, 15, 20, 50, 70 days, and in that range period. And it can just be such fierce action. And if it's a 50, 60, 70 day situation, that means there's going to be times where like 3 days, 4 days, it goes up 140%. And then you might have a 2-3 day span where it goes down 35%. Maybe it goes up to the 126 handle, back down to 80 like it's no tomorrow. And it does it in the next tomorrow, or 3 tomorrows later, if you know what I mean. Theta is exciting right now. Yeah, it's exciting. I also, I sold some Theta today for Ripple. And I still haven't got myself able to trade on Binance. I actually contacted Binance last night again via chat. Not as long of a wait, only like 20 or 30 Q, whatever. Last time I had to wait like 3-4 hours. This time I had to wait like 20 minutes or 10 minutes. And they said, okay, I mean, it should have been looked after. It's going to be getting done. They're like, it's like almost like expect an email within the hour or two. This is about 25 hours ago as I'm recording this, and I still haven't got any email back. I can't withdraw funds on there. But in UOB, I have to trade on every other exchange, because what I do is I deposit my coin into the wallet or the exchange I want to trade it from. When it's available for trade, I'll sell it for Tether or Bitcoin, whatever. And then I'll use that Tether or Bitcoin to buy the other coin, and then I'll withdraw it into my hardware wallet. Pretty simple. Well, just to show you a little screenshot. And this is a screenshot of UOB. And I withdrew most of my address, but 448.1317. It was 0.1 withdrawal fee. It's like nothing. That's awesome. It's cheap. So what's Ripple, like a 50-cent coin? So like a nickel. And it's like nothing for me to send it from my hardware wallet. However, I have to keep 20 back no matter what. I cannot. So I have to give them 20 Ripple essentially, because in my hardware wallet I can withdraw all but 20. So it's almost like that's your fee for being able to have a hardware wallet with us. And I'm like, you know what? That's business. I think that's fair. At the current prices, that's like $10. That's no big whoop. And 448 is really a small number for me too. Why withdrawing your assets? ? Now, as this came up, I literally would have gotten a notification, like literally instantly, that I had 448 Ripple coming to my wallet. That's how fast these guys are. Binance, it can take minutes and minutes, as if I care too much. for them to send me my funds. It's so when I go to Binance, I withdraw, I'll know that they'll send it out like 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then when I send it out, it's instant at that stage. But every other exchange, the second I push the confirmation, I put in my 2FA and stuff like that, and I push the final thing I have to push, literally it's like 1, 2, 3 seconds like every time. It is so amazingly awesome. But with that being said, why withdrawing your assets? And I can let you know, if you're watching this video, Hobie, I'll let you know. Your feedback will help us perfect our product. I don't like how you write that, because although I think striving for perfection in game theory is always the way to go, I'm sorry for that pause. Mark Andrews in Football Live could have got a touchdown. That plays over. But I always go for perfection. But you're never going to be perfect. And even if you think you can be perfect, or you are perfect at that moment, when you're in a game that's ever changing, and in something like this, next week, next month level, what's perfect today is not perfect next week, next month, when you play the same, or you're in the same atmospheric game, or what you're looking for again, for your specifics. In this case of trying to find perfect customer support. Of these lists, the exchange security level is low. I have never had a problem with Huobi, and the repetition amongst securities on other sites is not the greatest. I've had the Cryptopia problem in the past, and now Binance is not good. And I've heard of other little interesting situations. And, you know, I got to talk about even Dash, because it seems to be happening on every exchange, but the other one was nothing. Sweet. Lamar Jackson just got a touchdown. That's good for me. And this is 9:45 p.m. Eastern time. The game was 2 touchdowns to 2 touchdowns. Now 3-2, or 21-14 the score will be. But I'm a fantasy football player, mainly, and my big plays was on Nick Chubb and Lamar Jackson, and they've done very well so far. I just got low bets, unfortunately. Like $20 or $30. Anyway. The exchange security level is low. It seems fine. The product is difficult to use. Anything when you first start for the first time, or if you put new updates in, you're just getting used to it. But no, it's easy to use everything. Like again, what do I need to do? I need to deposit funds in the account. So I go to my wallet, I search my coin, and I push the deposit button. You give me the address, I copy it. I go to my hardware wallet, and I'll have to paste it at that point, put what I want in. And then you'll see automatically that it's coming, and you'll even give me a text message when I can trade it. So I go to exchange, I've put my code in, what I'm looking for, sell everything, again, for Bitcoin or Tether. Then I go to the other ones, like in this case, I'm buying Ripple. I'll buy it, then I go to deposits, withdrawals, or my section, push the withdrawal button, paste in my address that I want to send it to, go through the 2FAs and all that type of stuff, and it's done. That's easy. Fees are too high. You know, when fees are too high, that stops me. I mean, that's why I barely ever, it's been a long time since I made a withdrawal. I almost did. I'll get to that in a little bit here, on Bittrex, that is. But I haven't made a withdrawal of Binance, of Bitcoin, for 2 reasons: because altcoins have been getting their asses kicked over the last few years, and because of the 50,000 Satoshi cost almost like every exchange. That's just too high. I need the money to solve cash flow problems. No. None of the coins listed are coins interest to me. Oh, that's why I want them, is they're of big interest to me. Other. This is the problem. And I don't know why you didn't do this, because so many other ones will, when you push other, will put box. Please specify. The reason why is because if I have the choice to have me hold my assets or somebody else, I mean, ever since I can remember, and I got pictures to help me remember, ever since like 4 or 5, so 5, 6 years old, ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to hold it. If it's more of a proactive thing for me, for security reasons or one factor or another, or for purchase purposes, to have it in a second-hand account, or whatever you want to talk about it, or name, third party, then I'll do it that way. But I'd rather hold it. And it's just so easy for me to deposit coins when I need to trade. See, there's only one reason I need to have my coins on your exchange. And the reason would be for orders to sell. And that can be an advantage to have orders in rather to wait. But I'm not really too much into doing that. I mean, I used to big time. But it's so much easier for me to say, oh, this is going up. I need to sell this and buy that. I calculate how much I want to sell, move those coins over, do the transaction, do all the type of stuff that I'm talking about. And I spent way too much time showing that image. Back to the normal screen in Theta. But before we get to Theta, what happened on Binance or Bittrex? I got out of Dash completely. For now, I might buy it later. Who knows? I'm not a fan of Dash. I don't like the 50 confirmation on it. I really don't. But what happens almost every exchange, you cannot withdraw until 50 confirmations come everywhere. At least on the 4 exchanges I've dealt with. Poloniex, you need 50 just to be confirmed, period. Binance, you need like 10 or 20 confirmations to trade, but 50 to withdraw. And then on Huobi, you only need like 5 or 6 or 10 confirmations to trade. And again, it gives you the message that you can't withdraw until you get the 50. But Bittrex, this was odd. Everything's happening at one time. I got another message on Bittrex because I've only made about 150 to 200 to 300 or 400 or 500 withdrawals, literally. Especially back in the arbitrage days. I was doing 5, 6, 8 a day sometimes then. 10 plus maybe. So, I mean, it becomes part of the everyday normal system on how to do it. Okay, withdrawal, go to email, confirm, paste, all that type of stuff. And it's good to go. And 100% of the time, it is said, you're good to go. Money sent. But for the first time ever, that wasn't the case. I sold my Dash. I bought my Bitcoin. I tried to send my Bitcoin to my hardware wallet. It wouldn't let me send it. And you know, I'm saying to myself, I got a lot of Bitcoin. I don't need to add Bitcoin. Why not just buy some Litecoin and withdraw that? So that's what I did. And I got the same message. So I put a support ticket in and then thought nothing of it for several hours. Checked my email, reply back. I mean, Binance can't reply back to these things. Bittrex, DraftKings. I probably got like 100 emails back from them. It's sick. They're great at replying back to me. With that being said, they replied back to me. And I got a little generic answer stuff like how you got to recheck like your withdrawal and stuff like that from your email. And whatever. Okay. So then I go on my Binance, my Bittrex, and it says that the withdrawal was done. And it was successful. Go to my hardware wallet, and I look, and it was 7 minutes after the time I did it. So I pushed the button, the email, saying, yeah, confirm my withdrawal. And then they said, nope, can't do it, rejection. And it was saying invalid code was the message that it said. Invalid code. Like, what do you mean by invalid code? In fact, I got a screenshot of it. Withdrawal verification failed. There has been an error verifying your withdrawal code. Please submit it again. Now that withdrawal actually went through because I only tried it twice. The second one is probably where I would have done the print screen print image. This one here. But I just thought that was very, very weird. Like, because I don't actually use 2FA. I don't actually have my cell phone. They do have my cell phone. I think I have my cell phone connected with them, but not to withdraw. I need my email only. Where other ones I need email and I need my cell phone. Anyway, back again to Theta. I mean, this is the 18 average makes this very easy for me. So before we get back to where we were, everything was really choppy in here, but all the big moves before, this was a one-day event, and it was really unable to successfully hold and sustain any rally for quite some time. But it did hold within the 18, giving back pretty much all of its gains. And then you have a substantial amount of time for the next one of higher highs and higher lows. Several higher lows, like 3 or 4. Same thing on the highs. Definition of up and down trend. But we can see it never ever did go below the 18 lows. Now it briefly did on the March 12th session, and we can see in here how it was showing the weakness there. From that point on, it was in a bear market. And now we're looking forward to get above it. Attempt here, no. And then, of course, again, all that chopping came into play. So above, unable to do it. And when you do such, as I was talking before, you establish big levels of resistance. So the start of this year against Bitcoin, Theta was supporting this level of resistance, but it was still in the choppyish kind of range. And there you can see I have a sustained great gain. Not as many days as before, but sort of. Yeah, higher lows, higher low here, higher low in the second week of May, higher low at the end of the second week of May. So side correction in the third week, a little bit of side correction at the end of that. And then how does it respond to the 18? Now it's below it, and it's tempting to blow it. But okay, we have this high here on July 11th. And it has a nice, again, substantial amount of higher highs and higher lows. Now, not as much as before. I mean, it started higher here than it did here, and it didn't quite get to that high. So this complete retracement from these lows to these highs most certainly in play. Oh, but no, it did. Why did I think that? Anyway, it's just one of those nights, 9:54 p.m. So anyway, it actually pretty much retested them, and it's a failed move when it came down to it, because we had this exact high here where it got above it barely, and it supported on like several days. But like I mentioned before, it's either when you have a small move, it's either a small move or it's going to support and then break it later, or a failed move. But it's spent a significant amount of time within the 18. But in doing such, all of these lines that I show are Fibonacci lines. This is a 61.8% retracement from this low to this high. This is a 38.2% retracement. So a successful 38.2, not like I haven't seen that before. So it had a price correction. It took several days, many lower highs and lows. That's what a lot of things do. Had a small attempt on November 24th to get above, but it didn't really do much above it, and of course didn't have another attempt at it. But here we see it gets above it December 5th, successfully corrects it well, extends the gains to one nice 3 little bears, perfect leg higher for this low volatile move. And now within the low volatile move, it's been doing nothing but showing strength amongst this correctionary move in 18 highs. So I liked how how it reacted within it today's session, and this is the one for Tuesday. Just a fantastic move. Almost looks like inverted head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, whatever. But I think this thing is full-fledged ready to go like to 4,800. Satoshi making a move, breaking it with a noticeable pierce above the 4,600. Fibonacci level that is next in line. So just a very, to me, very good setup for such. But here I am selling, and I sold it at this high, around 4,000. Why would I sell Theta when I think it's going to go higher? The answer is mathematics. I mean, 38% move since the last time I sold Theta and Ripple. That was one reason. I got a lot of Theta. That's if it goes up higher again, my next thing is to sell Theta against Tezos. Next after that, Theta against Litecoin, and then Bitcoin Cash after that. So I mean, I just played on them. And if this is a failed break it, and Theta comes down here, and especially if Ripple goes up, then I can take my Ripple, and then I can go into. And Ripple had a breakdown today, and I can end up selling it. Oh my goodness! I mean, Theta, Ripple, so fast to send the exchanges. I send Theta or Ripple. Theta, same. They're both fast. I send Ripple to any exchange. So I go in there, I put in the tag ID, the memo, or the public address and the ID, 2 things, the amount, and I don't know, maybe 40 seconds later, I can sell it on the market. It is so awesome. And I love to do it. That's the better way of doing it. And I'm even thinking for stuff like fantasy sports is one example. Where if you're familiar with fantasy sports, what it is it's like a bet. So you bet X amount of dollars or units, I like saying units for this case, on how your fantasy bet's going to be, how the players are going to be in line. And then you have like a poker balance or an E-Trade balance. You have so many dollars that you can have, and it goes up and down when you win, and you can withdraw and deposit as you wish. All that's fun stuff. But you should never need to have a balance with a site to do that. Rather, I want to buy into a 5-unit game or a 25 Ripple game, we'll say, 25 Ripple buy-in. So then I end up putting the memo, the address and ID in for my public address. It says, okay, send, this game costs 25 Ripple. So I send my 25 Ripple and my bet is in. And then my bet, and it would also go on the blockchain, as awesome as that be. Now that's something I want to do is actually, I don't mind saying it on here because I don't think I'm going to do it anyway. It's so many things have to happen. One, I got to win big, meaning I got to become a very big multimillionaire to do it, which I think I will in time. And then I got to want to do it. And that is have like a fantasy blockchain site like that where you would not only use blockchain to play, but your fantasy lineups would be included in the blockchain. Because for transparency in fantasy sports, what I can do is when a game pops up early on, is I can download the game and get everyone's lineups. So I can see when the game is over, oh, John Smith 47 wins or something. Well, I can see that was the exact lineup that he had at 8:33 when it started at 8:30. And I've done that a few times, not for that reason, but for other miscellaneous reasons where I need that information. But it's all part of transparency, and that's what people and myself, I think, is very important. And I think that's what the blockchain offers a lot. So I think you put your blockchain lineups in it, and then when you win in it, you pay the public address. So my account says my public address is R27G5 whatever. And then it just gets sent to me. Say I buy it for 25 Ripple, I win 200 Ripple. So they send me 200 Ripple. I mean, that would be the way of doing it. And then when you log in onto your site, you can log in. So you can log in with your private address so you can see your balance. And it looks like you have funds with them. And I'm not saying you use Ripple. It's just any coin you could use. But as we can see, Ripple's getting its ass kicked too. This down move started December 11th at 1900 hours. So Theta goes up, Ripple goes down. That's why there's a 40% differential. It broke down a key level of support at around 2850. So again, that's about 38.2%. 61.8% is probably about 22, 23. So it might have some more downward move left as well. It really hasn't shown much to recover yet, the 1 hour term time frame. Little bit of an attempt here, 8 o'clock in the morning, early morning, December 13th. Unable to do it, showing very much weakness at the 18 average of lows, not able to break it, finally giving in at the end of the 13th day. Establishing a level of support now for the last 5 hours or so. Finding support within the 18, really not much of a breakout attempt, but until it gets out above the 18 average of highs, about 26.13 or below 25.63, it is all meh, whatever, stay within this. But at some point, we're going to have a good run, and it's going to be calculating. Like right now, I'll be like, okay, if you look at Fibonacci, calculate the highs from, I guess I would suppose I would do the highs from 32.30, which is from the breakdown highs. I mean, you got highs higher here, but this is right when the big move started with the big volume, so I'd probably take that to whatever the lows happen to be. Okay, we can see this low here had a handle of 25.87, and then did we undercut it? Most likely, I think we did. 25.56. Looks like that's the low. So right now it's that divided by 25.56 to the power of those areas. That's the areas I'd be looking at if we're going to have any rally. Of course, if you already got Fibonacci, I've already explained, I think it's going to go down another couple hundred basis points anyway, which I think would be the target levels breaking down below this. But that's what you'd be expecting. You just rechange those numbers from that point when you're calculating what the next move is going to be, because it is going to happen. Keep Fibonacci from the highs of 32.30 to whatever the lows happen to be. It's going to retrace. I think this thing's going to take off and have a big move soon, even though we see the breakdown sign here in the weekly chart showing nothing yet to state. But really, this is stage number 3 in reversal of trend. Stage number 1, and you're in a downtrend of some sort, so you need to neutralize the situation first. So band flattened out, as I talk about, is stage 1. Stage 2 is after you've neutralized the situation, you have to attempt to get things going. So neutralizing the situation, I mean, this is all neutral in here. But it did happen before, a little bit of a failed breakdown again, I find interesting. But, I mean, this could have been discarded, same old, same old. So there we go. Is this resistance established, stage number 2? And then I've said for so long, next stage, come back to the band. And that's what it's done. So make a higher low, 61.8, 70 or so percent retracement from this high to this low. And then it makes it easier to take those levels out if you can do cup and handle type formations, which is nothing more. Cup and handle is nothing more Then after having a good down move, a decent sized rally, higher lowing that decent sized rally, and then giving back everything from that last downward correction. That's really nothing more than a higher low, which is what it needs to attempt to do that. And that's still within stage 3, because stage 4 is breaking that of established resistance, which will occur roughly near 47.25. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.